All right, so yesterday the Supreme Court held a hearing on a homelessness ban. This is basically a law that bans homeless people from sleeping outside in public. It's called the Anti-Camping Homelessness Law, or Anti-Camping Homeless Law. It's reached the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court appeared inclined on Monday, it says, to uphold a series of local ordinances that allowed an Oregon city to ban homeless people from sleeping or camping in public places. They're homeless. Where are they supposed to go? If they can't sleep outside, where are they supposed to sleep? They sleep outside and then they get arrested or they get fined. They can't pay the fines because they're homeless. I mean, duh. And so they wake them up. They say, you can't sleep here. Move around. What they're saying is basically it's okay to be homeless and wander around and everything and not have anywhere to go, not be allowed in places because, you know, they kick you out if you're homeless and everything. And it's okay for them to be outside and everything and wander around, but it's not okay for them to camp outside or to sleep outside, not having any place to go. So they say that the United States has a homelessness crisis right now. I don't believe that to be so. I believe the United States has a greed crisis right now. It's really unfortunate. This is America. This is land of the free, unless you're homeless. This land is my land. This land is your land. This land is our land, unless you need the land to sleep, and then you can't do that on public land. I don't think that we have a homelessness problem. I think that we have a greed problem. I think that minimum wage being so low, and they're trying to pass it to $15 an hour. I argue that $15 an hour still isn't enough. It needs to be more like $25 an hour. And here's why. Let's just break down the numbers here. At $15 an hour, at 40 hours a week. So if you're lucky enough to get hired on at full time at $15 an hour, should that be passed, then you're at 40 hours a week, $15 an hour. That's $600 a week. Times that by 4 weeks in a month, and you get your monthly at $2,400. So $2,400 a month, and that's your gross, which means that your take home is probably somewhere in the neighborhood about $1,700-1,800. Any financial advisor will tell you don't spend any more than 25% of your take home on housing costs. So let's just take that top number, 1,800 there. 25% of 1,800 is $450. Show me a place that you can get for $450 a month. I'll wait. That's right. It doesn't exist. You can't get a place for $450 a month. A one-bedroom apartment out here will cost you $1,200 a month. That's 66%, 67% of your take-home at $1,800 a month. That's at $15 an hour and full-time work. So $1,800 minus $1,200 leaves you $600 for other expenses, such as your utilities, your gas, your electric, your water for that one-bedroom apartment that you have. Any car payment, any insurance, any gas to get back and forth between your one-bedroom apartment and your work. And then food for the whole month. You go to McDonald's and you get one meal and it's $12. If you eat one meal a day for 30 days from McDonald's at $12 a day for 30 days, you're at $360. That leaves you $240 for your car payment, your insurance, your utilities, things of that nature, or toiletries or household stuff, clothing, anything like that. So at $25 an hour, 40 hours a week, that's $1,000 a week. Times 4, that's $4,000 a month. Your take home is still $3,300. Maybe a month. So that makes that one bedroom, that $1,200, a little bit more doable, a little bit more affordable at $25 an hour and full time. We're not given full time. Companies aren't given full time, and they're definitely not giving $25 an hour. They're trying to pay as minimum as they can. It's really an issue of greed. It's American greed. It's greed of the companies, greed of these corporations. You look at a corporation like Amazon, and you look at Bezos, and because Amazon was considered essential workers, he agreed during the pandemic to give Amazon workers a $2 an hour raise. And then 2 months later, when they started lifting restrictions, he took that raise away, bumped them back down to their normal, regular wages. The rich keep getting richer. The middle class is dwindling away and getting poor, and we've got a huge divide in this country, and there's a growing homeless population. Now let me ask you this, or let me phrase this rather. The opposite of greed is generosity. Over the last 20 years, we've seen less generosity and more greed. It's biblical. It says the love of money. It doesn't say that money is the root of all evil, but the love of money is the root of all evil. So if you're always craving more and more and more and more and more, that's greed. That's the love of money. That's greed. You want more and more and more. You get more and more and more by having more and more and more money. The opposite of greed is generosity. Over the last 20 years, we've seen less generosity and more greed. Over the last 20 years, we've seen less good and more evil. Over the last 20 years, we've seen less people in houses, more homelessness. It goes hand in hand. The economy is struggling right now, and so here's the deal. They say it's inflation as to why prices are going up. Inflation is nothing more than a made-up word by the one percenters, by the elites of the country. It's a made-up word that is a substitute for greed. They say, we want more, we want more. How can we get more? Well, we got to charge more. Well, if we charge more, then, the people are going to be upset if we charge more for the same thing and don't give them a better enhanced product or anything like that. So they charge more, and then they call it inflation. And they say, well, if we call it inflation, then, people can't get upset because that's just, it is what it is. That's the cost of everything going up. But wages aren't going up. So why is the cost going up? The earth is not charging us any more for oil. It's the same as it's always been. It's there, and it's, for us to use. The earth is not charging us anymore. The same thing going on even on a government level. The IRS has owed me $8,787, almost $9,000 since 2023, February 2023. So I filed my taxes for 2022 in February 2023, supposed to get back $8,787. Have not seen a penny of that. So I did another post and I said, look, I'm not going to pay taxes. I'm refusing to file taxes this year. I filed an extension to give them more time, but I made a public announcement that I'm refusing to file taxes this year because you're not paying me what they owe me. If I owe them money, they want to, they'll contact me 3 times a week. They'll come and they'll garnish wages. They'll garnish my bank account. There's ways that they can get their money, and they'll charge me interest on top of that. But then when they owe us money as citizens of this country, and they've charged us more money than what they should have charged us, then they don't want to pay us. We work for 100 hours. We get paid for 70 hours because they take out immediately right off the top. They take out a cut, and they say, look, thank you for working 100 hours. 30 of those hours belong to us. That's our labor. You were paid for us. We get that money. Here's your 70 hours. And then you take your 70 hours, but you can't take your 70 hours to the store and buy 70 hours worth of stuff. You can't use that to buy 70 hours worth of stuff. You buy 58 hours worth of stuff, and the taxes on top of what you buy makes it to that 70. So you're taxed when you work. You work for the government, and then they say, oh, well, we need more of your earnings. So we're going to tax you on everything you buy. Then at the end of the year, they come out and they say, okay, it's time to pay your dues. We need more taxes. File your taxes. Make sure that we collected enough from you. Make sure that you worked enough hours for us, for our benefit. Our country is no more than a company stricken with greed. We're taxing the American people unfairly, letting millionaires and billionaires skate by with paying $750 as a filing fee, and that's it. Meanwhile, the rest of us, you're taking thousands and thousands out of our check, out of our hard earnings. And then you say we have a housing crisis because nobody's buying houses. Well, it's too expensive. You hike the interest rates up and people aren't making enough. The wages are not there. The salaries are not there. The greed has really taken over America, and we've got to stand up and do something about it, because they say we got a homelessness problem now. Wait another 10 years. Wait another 5 years, it's going to be worse. Wait another 3 years, it's going to be worse. And it will continue to get worse and worse and worse if we continue to not take care of our own people, not take care of our own citizens. America is a generous country. We just passed a $98 billion bill for foreign aid, a foreign aid package. $61 billion of that is going to Ukraine. We've got our priorities all messed up. We help other people, but we don't help ourselves. There's no laws saying that companies have to pay a fair and livable wage. And because they're not paying a fair and livable wage, then we have people out on the streets because they can't pay for housing. Housing is too expensive. So they say we got a homelessness problem. I say we got a greed problem. What do y'all think? Let me know. Comment below, share, subscribe, like, whatever you do. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions. Unite together. Move as one. All in love. Sqril.